Hi, I'm Glen Huey, Senior Editor with Popular Woodworking magazine. Pick up any book on how to set up your jointer, and the first thing you're going to read is that your knives need to be in exact line with your outfeed table. Everything should be parallel. Well, here in my home shop, I do things a little differently. I set my jointer up with my blades at a tilt. The idea is I'm trying to put a spring joint in my board. Now, when you pick up an issue of Popular Woodworking magazine from April 2009, you'll read the article on edge joining, how the three editors each approach this totally differently. Well, come in close, take a look at how I set up my knives, and I'll explain to you why I do what I do. If you look at the way I have my jointer knives set up, I use a dial indicator and I set this edge of my blade 15 thousandths of an inch below my outfeed table. I set this edge of my jointer knife 15 thousandths of an inch above my outfeed table. So I have a tilt in my blade in relation to my outfeed table. This edge below, this edge is above, and right here in the center is pretty much dead on the levelness with my outfeed table. So up here at the front edge, the cut that I get here at the front edge is going to be different than the cut that I would get at the middle or at this back edge. Now, the reason you want to do that cut is because you're trying to create a small spring in the board. A spring action in the board means that with a clamp dead center, I'm going to pull the two centers together tight. That means that my two ends are going to be super tight. And if you have a board that cracks or splits, it generally starts at the end. So by having a spring in it, I'm going to be able to pull it tight at the center and keep the ends tight. And what really helped me when I was doing it was production style work, is I could use less clamps to glue up my panels. So on a 24-inch wide board, if I get the appropriate spring in it, then I can go ahead with a single clamp and I don't have to add any more clamps to it in order to get a good clamp for a panel glue up. And that's kind of what I was aiming for. In order to use the jointer with this setup, things have to be a little differently. Your hand placement becomes rather important. On normal operation, as you joint, as you cross over and get enough room, you transfer your hands and your pressure to the outfeed side. Well, with your jointer knives set below the outfeed table, when you do that, you're going to create a taper on the back half or on the edge of the board that you run. So what I want to do is present my hand almost in the exact center of my board. So as I'm making that cut, it's making a cut until my hand gets to about the center. Then I automatically transfer my weight to the outfeed side of the table. When I do that, we create that taper from the center of the board back to the back edge. So that tapering action is what gives me the small spring cut. So the idea is, with a small board or short in length, I want to work out at this out front edge. So I bring all my stuff right out here. Now the longer the board, the further back you want to working towards that middle. To take the full amount of spring and use it on a 6-foot board is going to be way too much spring in the joint. So you have to kind of work back and forth to find that sweet spot that gets you dialed into exactly where you need. So from this point, I'm going to change my hands over. I'm going to put my pressure, hold down pressure here at the center, and I'm going to make a cut. And as I get past the center where the knives are, you'll see the weight transfer and I'll start that tapering process. Now, I must say here that we have the jointer guard off so you could take a look at how things work. Obviously, if the guard was in position, you wouldn't see anything of what I'm talking about. So let's take a cut and I'll show you and walk through the process. Now this is a piece that I ran earlier. If I put the two pieces together, you can see how I'm tight at the two ends and I've got a very small gap right in the center. It's that small gap in the center that we're really looking for. That's the spring joint area. So with that spring joint in there, all I need to do is a single clamp in the center. That's going to speed up my production time and I'm going to make everything work a lot quicker in my shop. Now the first question you're going to ask is, hey, that's great for edge jointing. I can get that sprung joint, but what to do when I face joint? And I'll tell you right now, with an 8-inch board or any size board over your jointer in normal position, run your hands normally, however you want to do it. It's not going to affect anything. The knife is straight across. You're going to get a flat cut on that face side. But what's going to happen is as you get closer to the fence, you're going to take off a little bit more material. So what happens then is if you make multiple cuts, it's going to quickly get down below, say, a 3/4 inch or whatever you're aiming for on that side. But just normal operations, normal cut, it makes no difference with the knife set this way. I'll show you how that looks too. Now you can see everything's nice and flat and fully ran, and from here this is not our final surface. We're going to go over to the thickness planer and continue the milling operations where we're taking a little bit off of both sides. You're going to end up with a dead flat panel just like you normally do.